All right.
All right. Hi, folks. It's the Bill and Dick Show again. We're back. We're here today to talk about our three latest wine club releases. The Lion Cantata Pinot from 2017, the Williamson Dick Syrah from 2018, and the Range 30 West from 2018. I think you're going to love this package. And before we start talking about the wines, Billy's going to tell you a little bit about our vintage that we've been through. He's had hell this last week.
So 21 harvest is shaping up to be quite an excellent harvest. What happened was we had despite all the heat in the rest of the West, the Central Coast of California had a very cool spring and a very cool summer with a relentless marine layer. When it's hot inland, it has a tendency to pull that marine layer in. And I don't remember a spring and summer where we had it every night. When you live here in the San Ynez Valley and you wake up and it's foggy in the morning, you know it's going to be a really nice day and it's not going to be hot. And that's where we were all spring and summer. So what happened with the vines got very comfortable with that. Although because of the constant marine layer, we had a lot of botrytis pressure this year, which is botrytis cinerea, which is a mold, fungus mold that grows in it, which is great on Riesling if you want to make a late harvest, but it's not really good on Pinot Noir or Chardonnay, or especially Chenin Blanc. And we had a battle in the Ernesto Wickenden vineyard because of that, but we actually won. We're winning right now. We had a little bit of rain as soon as we turned to fall, and it seemed to refresh all the leaves and get all the dirt and dust off them. And then we had heat after that. So the harvest spiked, and it went from a very comfortable pace to a hurry up pace. And that's been challenging these last 2 weeks. And it's been really hard mentally for me to make multiple decisions on what to prioritize as far as picking. Some other concerns for harvest 2021 that we had to deal with was labor shortage. There's always a fire threat now, and that, 10, 15 years ago, fire was nothing because it never happened. But now it's a concern every harvest. And then with the fire and the heat and the wind, we get power outages. And that's the last thing you want when you have a press load of grapes or you're processing. But anyway, it's almost behind us. We're going to finish Ernesto Wickenden tomorrow, and we're going to pick our last estate fruit, Cabernet Franc, off the old vines on Tuesday, and then we'll have everything in. And I got to say that everything we farm, the estate and Williamson Dick and Ernesto Wickenden are just splendid harvests in all those sites. So it's really something to look forward to.
In that picture you were just looking at, the fellow on that tractor, Rike, he's been working for us for 25 years now. So we've got some pretty amazing people that work for us for a long time.
Yeah, our people are the best. They're all family, and they're just great people.
So anyway, to go on, we have three really interesting wines today. They come from three different appellations in the San Ynez Valley, three of the four, actually. We're coming from Santa Rita Hills, Los Olivos District, and
Happy King.
Happy King.
Yeah, this is a good picture of Pinot Noir processing. If we can go back one.
Sorry about that.
There we go. Very small clusters, small berries. And in 2017, this is this year's harvest, so it's not 2017, but 2017, the harvest off La Encantada was absolutely beautiful. And we had to race to get it all in because we knew this heat, it wasn't really a heat wave, it was a heat bomb. 2-3 days of 115 degrees. And you have to understand that Pinot Noir can't deal with that because the skins are so thin, unlike red grapes that can get through it and recover, like Syrah and Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc. So we rushed. We picked this in 3 days off our 4 blocks. Yields were very low on La Encantada in 2017, but nothing to complain about because it was beautiful fruit. We ended up with only 13 barrels, which is probably about half of what we would usually get off there. But this is a beautiful wine and it's showing absolutely perfect right now. It just reminds me of walking through a blackberry patch in the fog. It just has that fog dripping off ripe blackberries. And it's got a little bit of thyme flower and sage in there. And it's almost like a blackberry sage ice cream on the palate.
So what would you pair with that, Billy?
Well, I'm always prone to go with duck frites. Just a nice duck breast, cooked rare with fries. It's always nice. Or any kind of squab is also always good with this. I love squab and Pinot.
Showing awfully well.
You're gonna love this wine.
Yeah, it's pretty darn neat. Are there any questions out there yet? I don't think so.
None so far, but everyone, I know
All
we
right.
really give a chance for questions about harvest, but you can pop
Todd
those.
Olson, where are you? Anyway, to go on, we're
actually this Pinot, you know, I'm not a big, I know that the marketing team loves it when we get high scores, and this wine scored high with everybody. And I'm real happy about that across the board, they all thought it was great. And I do too, so, but I'm not a critic.
Yeah, it was 90s across the line. That's a name, Catholic school.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Wait, we have a couple of questions that have come in, guys.
All right.
Eric Jones asked, how soon would you recommend opening this wine if you want to cellar it, or would you recommend opening it sooner rather than later, potentially decanting it?
I drink now through 2025.
So what you do is you buy a case and you drink a bottle about once every 6 months.
Yeah.
Always the salesman. And Leslie McGurk asked about a good cheese pairing recommendation for in the La Encantada.
I would stay away from blue, but I'm always prone to go with Epoisse and a really, really nice loaf of bread from so Epoisse and a nice loaf of bread from your favorite baker, but also truffled Gouda works really well. The black truffles and the Gouda. And get that loaf of bread too.
Truffle Gouda, that's it. I just got a message from from up above that said truffle Gouda would be good. Jenny's not moderating today because she is under the weather. She took a trip to Florida and came back with the grunge, but
not COVID.
Not COVID. So she's
Airplane.
been tested. Airplane.
And Dick, we have a shout out from De Bruges asking if you remember them from the wine dinner at Emerald's in New Orleans a few years ago, and that it was very good times.
We do. That's one of our favorite events ever, and so we definitely love all the people that come to that. And anyway, yes, we do remember. As we progress with this tasting, you note that we're moving in from the Pacific Ocean. We're going from La Encantada Vineyard, and now we're moving to the Wathen Dick Doré Vineyard, which is actually
coming up valley.
It's right out our front door here where we're sitting. In fact, it was harvested
in the picture of the Wathen Dick Doré Vineyard. right there. You're looking at the San Ynez range, and the current Olisol fire that's going on right now, the whole backside of that range has been fried, and it's really unfortunate. We've been fortunate enough that the wind was blowing out towards the ocean, and we didn't get any smoke or ash on our side of the range that would have been problematic with our fruit.
Well, anyway, this little vineyard was planted by Jenny and me 20 years ago, 21 years. And it's really, really come into its own. We've had some pretty wonderful vintages off of it. And Billy, what would you?
This is a vineyard that has it has wonderful springs, and then it struggles during the end of the growing season, and it's almost like you need to be in there looking at it every few days, but it always is okay. It always turns out right, and so it's just this great karmic deal that the fruit just comes in so beautiful across the board, both the Syrahs and the Grenache and Mourvedre also that make up the Cuvée Jean Marie.
Billy's being very kind because I'm really not a wine grower. He makes this thing work. But anyway, it's working, and it's been a fun project for Jenny and me.
This is a great example of the Williamson Doré Syrah. It's got all those telltale notes of blackberry plum, black peppercorn, herbs de Provence, and this road tar that kind of glues it all together. It's just so Williamson Doré.
And it's showing unbelievably well right now.
Aged in 500-liter puncheons. Also, when we ferment this, we put in about 10 to 12% whole clusters. So you just get a little bit of that, I want to say, terroir-driven savoriness with the fruit that adds another dimension.
And Billy said we use larger puncheons where they're 90-gallon rather than the regular 60.
No, they're 132.
132. Anyway, Billy, you want to say why you use them?
Because it lets the fruit shine a little more. You have a better fruit to oak ratio and less of an oak to fruit ratio. And we age it a little bit longer. This is about 20 months in puncheon. And it works. It's been working. Not a lot of new oak. Probably, I think each of the clones gets one new puncheon each harvest.
Is it French or Hungarian?
It's French oak from the Francois family. What else? Oh, I did a kind of an herb and pepper rubbed beef standing rib roast with this, and it was just heaven. It was really, really good. Well done. And
Well, Syrah notoriously goes with great red meat, with game.
Yeah.
We were in New Mexico a couple of weeks ago, and we had elk at Geronimo's, and this would have just been prepared for that, for sure.
So Williamson Doré Syrah, the difference between this Syrah and our estate Tinnaquac Syrah in Foxen Canyon, this is black pepper, Tinnaquac Syrah is white pepper. And that's the most distinctive difference between these two Syrahs. And of course, Tinnaquac's always in the summer, probably 5 to 8 degrees cooler during the growing season. And in the wintertime, 5 to 8 degrees warmer. So we've had that much difference. And it really shows in that pepperiness.
All right, guys, I have a couple questions that have come through. Sharon has asked kind of how much and how often of kind of the harvest of a year's wines are you tasting to kind of decide how long you should keep it and what all the tasting notes are?
We probably do quality control probably about every 8 weeks, go in and visit the wines. Monthly is a little too familiar.
Well, and we make 28 different wines, so
We visit them at different times, so.
yeah, so we're not visiting monthly.
But for the most part, it's not like, we know these wines' personalities from all the vineyards that we farm. And we, after doing this for however long we've been doing it,
36 years.
we understand each site and we understand how that wine's going to go. Granted, in certain vintages, things can go awry, and we'll have to visit that wine a little more than we usually do, or in a great vintage, a little less. So I hope that answers that.
It does. She actually has a quick follow-up, and just to clarify that that's prior to bottling. So that's you're doing quality control from the barrel, correct?
Yes. And I'll talk about that in the next wine because that's a blended wine. And so we could probably go on to that.
We can't.
All right, shall we move on, Billy?
I have a couple, there's a couple more
Yeah.
questions. Rick Ashley asked how long we should wait to enjoy the Syrah. I think that's more of the same answer Dick gave. Buy a case and open one every 6 months, right?
So I say definitely drinkable now, but I think this wine you could project out to 2028 easily, and it'll get really well matched up with food the farther you go out, and get some of those bottle notes, some of those really kind of neat things that aged wine gives you. Dick and Jenny just had the
Get your finger up, yes. 2002. that's right.
2002, and it was great.
Yeah, it was sensational. So in other words, this particular wine will lay down for quite a while. So I wouldn't worry about it going bad if you wait, but it's right now it's showing low.
I prefer mine on the younger side. So I projected out to 2028.
Yeah.
Great. And then one other question from Rick Ashley is if you've been hunting with Heath Porter lately. I think that's for Dick and Jenny.
Actually, we had a diminishment in jackrabbits and an increase in ground squirrels, and because they're smaller, I can't hit them either.
So I need to hire out Rosie to come in here and do some work. My border terrier.
And then just real quick, Mitch and Lisa just wanted to say they attended the New Mexico Food and Wine Festival, but they weren't able to get tickets for the luncheon. So hopefully the next time.
All right.
And then Mickey has a question about how many of the vineyards that we source from are dry farmed.
Only
Well,
one.
this one, that's our 10 o'clock.
Dick's vineyard is almost dry farmed.
Yeah, right. Well, thing about my vineyard, the Williamson Doré vineyard, is we're a completely different soil thing here. I mean, we've got some sandy, rocky stuff on top, but down about 3 or 4 feet, we got this clay barrier that just really makes it a challenge to keep the fruit vital.
Right.
Anyway, shall we move on to Happy Canyon?
Yeah. So we're moving again
East.
up valley. We have a nice picture of the Vogelsang vineyard here. Not just Vogelsang, but also most of the vineyards in Happy Canyon sit on this cobble of serpentine and gravel, and it's pretty amazing. It's really a hard soil for the vines, but it works. And they're not necessarily shallow soils. They're deep. They're alluvial soils. This picture of Vogelsang is typical of Happy Canyon, where you got these rolling hills, and old vines.
How old are the vines there, Billy?
These were planted in 1998.
Okay, well, about the same as
Williamson
Williamson Dick, only a year older.
So this is the Range 30 West. Range 30 West is the U.S. geographical
Coordinates.
USGS coordinates for the Happy Canyon area, and so we have that name trademark for us. This is a blend of Cabernet Franc from McGinley Vineyard, which is the neighbor of Vogelsang Vineyard, and Merlot from Vogelsang. And we pick these separately, we age them separately, and we try to learn their personalities over the course of about 12 to 14 months. And then we construct our blend. And we're just looking for a nice, savory Bordeaux red that we like. And this wine has this great. I always think barbecue, Tex-Mex, because I like, or even Carolina, because I like the little bit of sweetness with that barbecue. And it goes really well with this wine, because this wine is not sweet, but it does have sweet fruit in it. But it also, if any of you know about Santa Maria barbecue, which is either top block sirloin or tri-tip, pinquito beans, salad, salsa, garlic bread. This wine is perfect for Santa Maria style barbecue. And I think Santa Maria style is actually trademarked, isn't it, by City of Santa Maria?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I just have a quick note from Bill and Carrie. Just a thanks for reopening the shack again. They've loved that. They love that place. Loved it ever since Sideways and beyond. So just a thank you for that it's finally open again.
Well, thank you guys. It's been
Thank you.
really a challenge
Yes.
with the pandemic to get it back up and running. Granted, on a limited basis now, club only, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
But it makes it very special, and you always know how special it is. You know.
And the portable outhouses are still there,
Yep,
but they're new.
they're new. Yeah, we get new ones. Yeah, it's really neat. We have Jenny got some great colors there. We got new umbrellas,
New
and chairs.
furniture.
It's rather exciting for our club members. So, and we're making it special exclusively for our club members. So it's important.
So as far as ageability of this wine, this was bottled in August of 2020. So it's a relatively fresh new wine. I would say this could easily go to 2030.
And actually, a quick note about that from Mickey. 2 years ago, they said they opened up their last bottle of Foothill Reserve.
Oh,
And they loved it. And that the last vintage of that was probably 2003, I think.
two, I think.
Two.
Mhm.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
on two. And then we switched over to our, what is it, West Bank blend?
Yeah, it would be, no, it would be East Bank,
East Bank?
Yeah.
All right, whatever bank,
Right Bank.
right bank. Not the wrong bank. All right. Anyway, so you got any more to say about that, or should we,
No, I just love this wine.
shall we pop something special?
Yeah, we have a special surprise for all you that are able to be in on this tonight. Let's show them the bottle before we open it. If you can even open it. Okay. This is our 2019 Chenin Blanc Ernesto Wickenden sparkling wine. We're really excited about. We have a limited amount, I think about 100 and something 120 cases maybe.
Less.
Yeah, and we're gonna release it November 1st to club members. And it's like the best oyster wine ever. Oyster bubbly.
So order your oysters now.
Two glasses over there.
All
So,
right. Look at those bubbles.
November 1st release. It's very frothy. We tiraged this for about it was about a year or so, and then we disgorged this summer, and it's ready to roll. Whew.
Yeah.
Billy, just a question from me. Can you explain a little more about when you're talking about tirage and disgorging? Can you explain a little more kind of what?
I can. So, and we're making more this 2021 harvest. We're making a little more of this, and so we make a base wine, picked at low sugar, probably between 19 and 20 or 21, and we make that still wine. And then when that's finished, it goes into tank and gets sugar and yeast added to it, and then bottled. So it ferments in the bottle after that. So that tirage, which is fermenting in the bottle, sits in bins for however long you want it to. This was tirage for a little over a year. I think our 2021, David and I decided we'd like to tirage a little bit longer, maybe 2 years, to get a little more complexity. And then once you're happy with that, how the tirage is tasting, it gets disgorged and bottled, and of course corked, and the finished product.
And there she is.
So this, I'd be this and some Kumamoto oysters on the shell, on the half shell, be just delicious. Just with some lemon. You could do mignonette or horseradish, but I'm just kind of a lemon guy because I like the oyster as an
How about
oyster.
something like uni?
Uni would be awesome. And we have a lot of that in the valley here these days, at all these restaurants and Michelin starred restaurants now.
Yeah. Big time for San Ynez Valley.
Say it, barley.
Actually, it's Bill's restaurant.
Bill's,
Bill's restaurant.
but their
and also
sister
the
restaurant,
Skimmer
Barlacote, which is a seafood tavern. Yeah, this would be all over. Cheers, Dick.
And this is the first ever 1-star Michelin in Santa Barbara County. So
Yeah,
highly recommend it.
but don't go too much because we can't get in anymore.
I have a quick comment from Bill and Carrie, just with a pairing for the bubbles, like with Bodega Bay oysters. Yum.
Oh, you know what? It doesn't matter what oysters. Any oyster will do. And I'm a big oyster aficionado. So, and I like to taste oysters everywhere I'm traveling, West Coast or East Coast. And because they're all different, it's like trying different Pinot Noirs, in different places. Oysters display terroir just like grapes do, and it's really fascinating. In fact, I just got notice that there's a limited release of Fanny Bay Petites now coming from Taylor Shellfish up in British Columbia. And so I'm going to grab some, and they ship overnight. And it's just going to be a beautiful time with this. Probably the end of next week, all the grapes will be in, and I'll celebrate a little bit.
How about mussels?
Mussels will work. You know what?
Not quite as well. They're a little.
No, actually, mussels escabeche would work really well with this. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Bill and
Got
Carrie,
a little bit of tang. Yes.
Bill and Carrie just wanted to follow up. I believe they're in Colorado, that all they really have is Rocky Mountain oysters.
Yeah.
Now that would go better with the Pinot
The range 30 West.
And
Oh,
Mickey has another question about the 3 club wines that we've tasted through today. Of the wines, of these 3 wines, do you prefer to decant any of them for any specific amount of time before drinking?
You know what? In a kind of a certain year, you would decant the range, but this wine seems to be real light and lively and doesn't have a lot of throat. And so I don't think there's a need to decant this.
no, it's showing beautifully.
You know, some of the Happy Canyon cabs that we make, and like, I don't know, somewhere in the future, we're going to release an estate Petit Verdot that we just bottled this summer. And things like that, definitely, yes, they will open up with decanting a little quicker.
Mhm.
Be a little more rounder earlier.
So
And
any more questions out there from all of you?
We
Not too
have-
difficult.
I just have one comment from Katie. Great tasting, lots of info. Can't wait for the sparkling and the Bordeaux cruise. Went to
Oh, yeah.
All right.
went to Bell's in July and had to make reservations over a month in advance. Great place though.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
And if you can't get into Bell's, try Bar La Côte.
Yes. That's their newly opened
Seafood
restaurant in Los
tavern. It
Olivos.
is absolutely delicious.
Anyway, Billy, you got any more that you want to
I
impart?
don't,
Any
unless
more
people
wisdom?
have any more questions. Again, to note, the 2021 harvest has been beautiful yet challenging. And it wasn't challenging till the day we turned to fall. Just boom.
Yeah.
It just hit us. And I don't remember a vintage where I've been so mentally challenged for this certain amount of time.
Just getting older,
And
Bill.
oh, it's no.
Is there any fruit still out there?
I
Yes,
explained
yes.
we're going to finish Ernesto Wicken and Chenin Blanc tomorrow, and we'll pick Cabernet Franc off the old vines up top on Tuesday, and then we'll
That's
be
it.
done.
And that will do it for us. And that'll probably do it for us here. And again, we love having you all tune in for these wonderful little Zooms. And love
Look
see
forward
you
to the
for-
next one. I think is in December,
Yeah,
and I don't know what those wines are.
but we'll tell you.
You'll know when they.
Anyway, enjoy and look for our sparkling when it's released next month to our wine club.
November 1.
And anyway, it's been a pleasure, and we love you guys. And
Hey, and this would be great for an entry to Thanksgiving dinner.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
And
Or
I just wanted to plug really quick, just a reminder for club members that you get an additional 5% off reordering these 3 wines with the club code OCT2021 club that you can put in whenever you're ordering. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Billy.
that's okay. But with maybe just a big bowl of oyster dressing.
all right, guys, you done, Billy?
I am. Thank you all.
Thank you all for coming.
Thanks for being part of the Foxen family.